Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. So, 4.5 hours ago, all of these new skins rotated into the Rust store. Very nice. And it's been a good few hours, as you can see. We can see some nice progress so far. But in this video, the predictions video, we're going to try our best to figure out which of these skins could potentially be a very good investment. Which of these skins could potentially give us some of those delicious looking profits. Right, so, I'm just going to sit here and say straight up, I'm not super confident with these skins this week. That's not necessarily a bad thing for all of them. It's just I feel like I need more context to know what's potentially going to happen with these collections. That would be very helpful to know. Yeah, that doesn't sound like super comforting. But basically, I'm going to sit here and say this week I'm very likely just going to be doing buy orders. And honestly, all the abnormal skins this week are probably going to be the ones I care more about, to be honest. So, with that, shall we get started? Shall we jump straight in? Let's start off with like the tempered Bandana and Poncho. So, this is primitive tempered. That kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? It was actually an early pick, which was quite a surprise. Now, it does look a bit goofy. And the funny thing is, with this being accepted, a whole bunch of people have been buying out tempered collection skins. I just wanted to point that out real quick. But with this, I get the feeling we're probably going to end up with the likes of maybe some burlap or maybe some hide clothing. Now, I guess that can happen, but I would like to know if it's going to happen. Guys, if we do know that Milio himself, the skin creator, sits there and says, you know what, guys, I'm going to go make some hide clothing. I'm going to make hide boots or maybe some gloves, a hat, are we going to progress? So the main thing that I saw was the likes of what were all the most recent Poncho skins we've had accepted this year. And you can see the likes of Pirate, Carrot, and then Frog Cosplay. And why is Pirate Poncho doing so well? Well, we got more primitive skins being accepted after that. It turned into a full-fledged primitive collection, and now recently we've had the likes of Tier 3 and Hoodie and Pants being accepted, so that had more pieces. In early game you can make a full set of this. That's nice. Could we potentially see the same thing happening with the likes of tempered Poncho and Bandana? I'd hope so. So just to give you some extra context, Pirate Collection started off with Bandana and Poncho as well, didn't it? And then with all the new extra pieces being accepted, they went up in value and it worked out very nicely for them. So for both of these, first of all, they're both abnormal. All right? I don't need to rush into buying them. Please take that in mind, all right? We don't need to rush into buying anything. The second thing that I want to know is, and you yourself could probably go ahead and ask him, go to the comment section, will anybody ask him, are you going to be making, there you go, right there we go, right, so if he responds to that, all good. But the main thing I want to see is he going to be submitting some tempered primitive skins this next weekend? If I see signs of that, I'm more confident in jumping in and buying some, all right? So I'm going to sit here and say I'd rather wait till the weekend. I'm going to keep an eye on the workshop. You've probably seen the likes of my, where are we? Let's hop over to here. Yep. Have you seen my recent Rust Workshop skin checks? I'm constantly keeping an eye on the workshop and whatnot. As you can see over here. Some silly things there. But, yeah. I'm going to feel a whole lot more confident if I do see like the likes of maybe some hide clothing or burlap clothing in the next workshop submissions from Milio. So I can wait for that. By default, with it being an abnormal skin, I'm not going to do anything until I do all my abnormal buy orders first, look at the support, get a good idea of what he's probably doing with the workshop, then I'll make my decision based on that. So, yeah, I'd rather wait. And of course, when I do my workshop video, you'll be able to see if there's any new tempered skins being uploaded. Sound good? Right, so, with that out of the way, I'm now going to focus my attention on the Thompson, the Banana Thompson. This is, very notably, probably the only yellow Thompson that we have. Yeah, I know, Recycler, that's 50% green, 50% yellow. Just want to make sure that we're aware of that. So, yeah, this stands out compared to all of the other Thompsons. It's the only bright yellow Thompson, right? It's a banana. It's good for you. I still stick by my point. And I'm sure you've probably potentially seen my video. If I hop over to here real quickly. Have you seen my video talking about Thompson skins? Are they a reliable investment? Right here. This video right here. I get the feeling this Banana Thompson's still going to be alright. I am a little bit concerned on the amount of acceptances and Thompsons being given away fairly recently. So last year we had 9 different marketable Thompson skins. That was a whole year. After only 6 to 7 months, we've already had 7 accepted. Now, some of you might be sitting there and say, oh, so are these bottlenecking each other with far too many of them being accepted in such a short amount of time? Well, I'll be honest with you, I mainly care about the long term with Thompsons. And I still think all of these Thompsons will be happily in the positive December, January time. I think like that. So I do feel like this is going to be perfectly reasonably fine. You know, I will be concerned about the amount of sales that it, has. With the high quality metal Thompson having a whole lot more than anticipated, I only stuck with a buy order on that in the end. If this ends up with maybe 12,000 sales, I actually might consider buying some. But again, we have to observe and we have to wait. And I do get the feeling this week's going to be a whole lot more calmer. I'll explain that in a little bit. So right now, it's abnormal. I don't need to rush into buying it. I do feel somewhat confident in it. And yes, I know, we've had 3 Thompsons given away this year. And fairly recently, we had the Augusta Bell Golden Thompson. But still, I do still feel like that potentially might be doing all right. Now, I'm going to say something at the end of this video which might support that, so stick around, and yeah. So, alright, with that out of the way, I'm now going to move my attention towards the Pixel Tier 3. So Pixel Tier 3 was accepted. This is actually a version 2. The skin creators tweaked the changes to make it look more like the hoodie and pants, and well, both the hoodie and pants have been spiking in demand and spiking in price. Very nice. So, we now anticipate the arrival of the Tier 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if that gets, submitted at some point in the near future, and of course, accepted maybe. So, the main concern with this Tier 3 is its sales going to match up with the hoodie and pants? See, these only sold 13,000 each, and if this surpasses this by too much, I would sit here and say 15,000 would be the maximum for me. If it only did an extra 2,000 sales compared to these two, I'd be alright with that still. Reptile Hunter did that. Do you remember it started off with Tier 3, had 17,000 sales each, then we had the Hoodie and Pants. Hoodie and Pants had 19,000 each, and it still worked out quite alright in the end. Yeah, that would be fine. If this doesn't do 15,000 sales, more than 50,000 sales, I will be happy with that. I'll be okay. Because then, of course, with the Tier 2 potentially on the horizon and potentially being accepted, we'll see the spike in demand for these, and we'll see the spike in price. These have progressed very nicely fairly recently. And, yeah, it's working out quite all right for it. So, it's mainly a matter of, will we actually see the Tier 2 being made soon and accepted soon? Time will tell. It does look fairly positive. And based on the amount of sales that we've seen so far, Tier 3 is actually the lowest selling at the moment. So, yeah, it might be in a good position. And it's abnormal. Both of the pieces are abnormal. I don't need to rush into buying it. I can take my time, do my buy orders first, and then see how many sales have happened, and then make considerations whether I want to buy them or not. Sound good? Sounds good. Right, so, hard maybe on the next one, Porcelain Large Box. Guys, I don't think many of you realise how good this actually looks, so get a good look at all the artwork in the workshop, but it's glow in the dark. It's glow in the dark, and it looks like this. And I think Mr. Vase did a wonderful job of that. That looks cool. That looks awesome. Just seeing all the designs really stand out with the glow in the dark. I think that looks great. And I think a lot of people fail to realise how good that looks. So maybe it might potentially do quite alright in the future once people realise how good that looks. At the moment, 2,000 sales so far? Yeah, it's alright. It's abnormal. You know what I'm going to say. It's abnormal. I'm fine to leave this until Wednesday or Thursday, depending where you're on the world. Do my abnormal buy order, then look at it. Because we have had quite a reasonable amount of large wood boxes being accepted recently. Let's go take a look at all of them this year. Right, so scroll up. There we are. Yeah, so the most recent ones haven't been doing super great, unfortunately. And I do get the feeling this will probably potentially suffer a little bit. But then again, this did 25,000 sales almost, and this is only really good to be in theme with the Adobe building skin, and that costs extra amount of money. So, yeah, Yeah, this should probably be all right. Also, with the arrival of this, the Porcelain Large Box, people are now anticipating the potential arrival of another attempt at the hoodie and pants. Someone did actually ask that earlier. So we can actually see that the skin creator himself is actually considering it. Benji again. So yeah, possible but not soon. Still haven't got a solid idea, but he's thinking of it. So if we potentially see hoodie and pants being submitted in the future and potentially being accepted, all the better for that and the whole collection. But yeah, it's abnormal. I'm not going to rush into buying it. I'll take my time, buy orders first, then yeah, you get the idea. And that's basically it. I'm honestly only mainly focused with the abnormal skins. Now, guys, I just want to kind of introduce you to something, a trend I've noticed this month. June 1st, right? We had quite a lot of very interesting picks, and with that, a lot of sales. It was crazy. So we had a very high amount of sales during this week, during June 1st. The next rotation, June 8. Felt a lot more calmer with the picks, and with that, we had quite a lot less sales in comparison. It was a lot calmer, a lot tamer. Yeah, very nice. The week after that, last week's Rust rotation. Oh, look, here's some very in-demand collections, and a Pet Rock, and Redemption. Insane sales all over again. Now we look at this week. It's a whole lot more calmer. I get the feeling this was done on purpose. I think it was a strategic move. Yeah, I feel like they've picked out some skins that they didn't think were going to be doing too crazy, because they got the feeling that people are very likely going to want to calm down for a week, which leads me to believe I think we're going to have an insane week next week. Yeah. And this is why I'm pushing for the idea that let's wait it out a bit. I don't think we're going to see that many sales this week. And then, you know, once you see it all for yourself, you get a better idea of what you might want to offer for these skins and whatnot. Sound good? Patience is very rewarding. You get a better scope of what things are like. And, of course, we've got to keep an eye on the workshop. So like I said, every single week I do my Rust Workshop skin checks. And, you know, in the descriptions for these videos, you can see the collections. Yes, very nice. And the potential things we might potentially see next week. Guys, you've really got to look for you've really got to keep an eye out for all of this. Like, just as I scroll down, there's some very interesting. So, like, this was an early pick. I was already aware of this. And I was actually surprised to see it being accepted. But then, like, we got potentially Reptile Hunter boots and gloves. That would be very nice, wouldn't it? We've also got the likes of... Well, actually, I've got it all prepared over here. So if I just move it here... Do you see what that is? That's Dragon Rage, but for Whiteout. Say hello to Snakebite, hoodie and pants. So, yeah, made by the same creator. And I think a lot of you are going to greatly appreciate that. Oh, yes, I do. That actually looks like it's got a very decent chance of being accepted. Dragon Rage did very well. What do you reckon? Would you like to see that being accepted? I'm sure you would. And then we also have the likes of, as I said, Reptile Hunter boots and gloves. And then that right there, a second version of Elite Crate. That's right there, yeah. So what I wanted to point out was we were very well aware of certain skins that technically were early picks. Like, these weren't even in TGG's lists. So this is why I'm promoting the idea that you want to be a whole lot more patient. You've got to keep an eye on the workshop a whole lot more. Yep, so you've got to go over to here and keep an eye on the workshop. Start following skin creators. Start building up your own Fallen Authors list. And you'll be more aware of potential skins in the future that could potentially be accepted. So, yeah. Sound good? Right then, so it's mainly going to be looking like I'm going to be doing buy orders. 48-hour analysis will obviously double up potential opinions. Like, maybe I'll think, you know what, maybe that's not looking as good now, or maybe that still looks good, and I'll, you know, double down on my points. Yeah, not as much talking compared to last week, of course, but yeah, this is definitely looking to be a buy order week. And remember what I always say, look, this is with the financial perspective. If you like the look of these skins, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support those skin creators. But we are considering whether we might potentially want to buy order 10, 20, 30, 50, maybe even 100 or 1,000 extra purchases with the attempts in trying to make a decent profit by selling them at a later date. So, yeah. With that, thank you all for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And keep an eye out for the future. We've got some very interesting potential things. And, well, next week's potentially going to be a very cool, interesting looking batch of skins. And with that, catch you later. See you and goodbye.